You think you're just surfing the internet, but in reality, several dozen people are already watching you. And what if there are more? Why would they need this? Every video you watch is chosen for you by something else. You are not just a user, you are part of a system. A system that has been built for years, and many unsuspecting users are simply unaware of it. Authorities are using emotional triggers to disable citizens' logic in order to impose total control over personal data and communications. So let's listen to Pavel Durov on this matter.
Once somebody says we need to protect the children, they're in danger, it completely bypasses logic. It bypasses debate. It bypasses rationality. All of a sudden, people are ready to give up everything. And authoritarian regimes were able to smuggle all kinds of repressive legislation under the guise of protecting children.
Durov explains that the phrase child protection acts as a psychological weapon on society. It strikes at the deepest parental instincts and fears for the future of their offspring. As a result, people completely shut down their critical thinking. No one wants to argue or appear against children, so society mindlessly agrees to any restrictions. The second criterion is the method by which states subjugate independent platforms and businesses, forcing them to engage in censorship. So let's listen to Pavel Durov on this matter again.
First, you need to introduce a large number of laws. You need to overburden a certain industry with excessive, mutually exclusive, contradictory regulation. As a result, you make compliance impossible. Now you can treat every entrepreneur, every CEO, every business owner in this country, in a certain industry, as a criminal. But then the government carefully starts to choose who to persecute.
Durov is referring to the creation of unenforceable laws trap for business. The essence of this method begins with the government adopting a huge number of complex, confusing, and often contradictory laws and regulations for the IT industry. Enforcing them all is physically impossible. What about the fight against disinformation as a tool of political censorship? Durov points out how, during the COVID-19 pandemic, the European Commission used leaked emails to pressure Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, forcing them to ban, delete, and shadow ban accounts that promoted information inconvenient to the authorities. Years later, topics that were then labeled conspiracy theories, such as the artificial origin of the virus or the harm caused by school closures, have become part of the mainstream discourse. This proves that information was removed not because it was false, but because it was inconvenient for those in power. Durov's final manifesto: with the development of artificial intelligence, humanity will no longer have the luxury of Soviet totalitarianism, when the secret services physically lacked the manpower to read every letter. AI will be able to automatically analyze every thought, draft, and communication of a person, turning the world into an inescapable digital prison. Since the West has always been the beacon and defender of freedom, its fall will mean the end of freedom worldwide. Humanity has no second West or backup civilization to which dissidents can escape. The only way forward is to recognize the scale of the catastrophe and begin repairing this ship now, refusing to compromise with state pressure.